Welcome. Today I have a very special guest, Sam Tran. Now, Sam, I've been following him for a couple years now, and we've spoken at a few events. And this gentleman is a recovering pharmaceutical research scientist. Recovering. We talked about that earlier. Just give us a little background of what you went through when you were a research scientist in the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, so I went to school at the University of Washington, and then I started working in the hospital. But I just saw the revolving door. That's our hospital system, and I wanted to get to the front, to the front end of healthcare and just help prevent people from getting sick in the first place. And so at that time, back in the 90s and mid 2000s, it was pharmaceutical research because there wasn't a big, really organic movement yet. And so that's why I went into pharmaceutical research. But doing that about 23 years, I just kind of figured out that, we're just coming up with more medicines, but no one's really working on prevention. And so, then I had my near-death injury, my accident.
So let me get this right. So you started in the pharmaceutical drug industry as a scientist to research them.
Yes.
And you got into it and you realized this really isn't helping people. This is just putting a Band-Aid on all these symptoms.
Yes, yeah.
And so from there, you have this near-death experience. So tell us how that happened.
Yeah, I'm a very active guy. So during the winter, I'm a ski instructor. I skateboard, snowboard, and everything. But I was skateboarding with my children and not wearing my helmet, no prevention, right? Because I thought I was good enough, and not good enough.
Just taking risks.
Yeah, taking frivolous risks. So I fell and I hit my head and I was in a coma for the better part of just a day.
Really?
But I experienced not seeing heaven, but experienced the love and acceptance that's heaven.
Wow.
And then you come back to this world and you see how it's not going in the right direction. Things are topsy-turvy, things are upside down. And so that led me to have an awakening and basically choose a different path.
Wow. And so I remember you talking about you had some experience with your ears, and then you would vomit or you'd feel delusional because of your head wasn't quite on right. And then you got a contraption to help your ears, correct?
Yeah.
And so, that was more preventative. So is that kind of what sparked the whole idea of how you got into the Kangen water?
Yeah, so I when I got my concussion and went to coma, I woke up with vertigo. Vertigo is a sense of dizziness and it's uncontrolled dizziness, basically. And so I had dislodged some of the crystals inside my inner ear on one side, and it was sending my brain a signal that I was laying down. Meanwhile, the crystals in the other ear was telling my brain that I was standing up. So the brain was getting mixed signals. The hardware got damaged. Right. So I found a natural way to reverse that because there's no cure for vertigo, apparently.
Right. And so when you discovered that, then you kind of looked at everything else in your life and you were analyzing, how did I get here, and drugs and pharmaceuticals. What really changed your mindset to prevention from there on, and the water? How did it come into your life?
Yeah, it changed me because here I was experiencing something as a patient. Not a scientist, not a researcher. As a patient, I didn't want to be on all the pills, and then I found something that actually worked, but the healthcare industry didn't really, know about. So I was like, wow, that's kind of strange. So what am I a part of?
Right.
And so that led me to look at other things that were natural, because it's strange when you work in toxicology. Because I worked in my department, looked at the side effects of all the drugs. When you look at these white powders and these special chemicals, you find out how toxic and dangerous they are. So you want to avoid them at all costs.
Right.
You're not taking them for fun. You know that they're toxic, and so so that's why I was looking for natural ways.
Right.
Anyways.
So you had some health issues at that point with your brain concussion. You were trying to stay away from all those pills because you had researched them. You knew what they were doing to
people.
Right. And so when you started drinking the Kangen water and you decided to do this, now you're retired and recovering as the pharmaceutical scientist.
Yes.
What is it about the water that you feel is so beneficial to people's health?
For me, I looked at first. I was looking at the data because I'm a data-driven guy, right? But then it became so logical and so simple. And I asked myself, am I looking for something that's complicated, expensive, and side effects, or am I looking for simplicity? For me personally, I want simplicity. And so why not water? If water could do this medical device from Japan that changes the characteristics of my water. If water really could do this, then I have to question everything that I've been told.
Right. And so earlier today you talked about 3 things that are behind every disease process.
Yes.
Can you explain what those 3 things are?
Yes. So you have oxidative stress. So you have free radicals that are coming into your body and stealing electrons. So basically oxidizing your body. And so nowadays we have chemicals in our food, water, and air that are doing that to our body. And so that's why we're breaking down at an earlier age, right? That's why cancer is increasing because of oxidative stress, right? The second stress is acidic stress. But via your metabolism and just being alive, being a human, you're going to make waste product from burning fuel, burning food. And those are acidic. And so you have to clear those out. But if you're also consuming acidic foods and beverages, then those toxins, those acids are going to build up in your body. And so if you can find a way to neutralize them or eliminate them, then that helps. And the third thing is dehydration. As I get older, I notice that I don't quite have the strength that I do. I don't have the vision or the hearing, or just the strength. Everything decreases, even your sense of thirst. Mm-hmm. So over time, most people become dehydrated without being aware, right? Totally. So the combination of those 3 are really at the core of a lot of our health issues.
Right.
And so if you can address those 3, you can eliminate many of the chronic issues in our society. Right. And that's what the doctors want too. That's why they say drink 8 glasses of water, get fresh fruits and vegetables, 5 servings a day, get plenty of rest.
And so being that we know so many great benefits of the Kangen water, we know there are 3 properties to the water. Mm-hmm. The first one would address oxidation.
Yes,
because we have the antioxidants.
Yes.
The second one would be the alkalinity, which helps overcome acidosis.
Yes, the acid stress.
The acid stress. And the third one is the absorption rate of the Kangen water.
The dehydration.
The dehydration.
Yes. So it was kind of like one of these aha moments. It's like, wow, why didn't I ever think of this? Because, for me, I come from a scientific background, and we think science is always cutting edge. No, science is the, deciphering of what Mother Nature's done. Science is discovering what has already been created. That's what science is, unraveling the puzzle. Mm-hmm. Right? We're not really doing new things. We're just trying to figure out how things have been set up for us already.
And you said it earlier as though you were experimenting with people's lives.
Yeah.
Because you're in science to have a result at the end, which is a drug that you can manufacture and sell for billions of dollars. Yeah. Like, what was the Cialis, I believe?
Yeah. Cialis was a drug. So I worked for a company, Icos, which was bought out by Eli Lilly. But it was a failed medication. It was a failed, for that particular application, it was a failure. But it was, it had other side effects that they made into, an ED drug.
And that's how they came out with erectile dysfunction, and then this drug that was an accident.
Yeah.
And then they found that there were side effects that's actually harming people's health. Yeah.
You get the blue vision and things like that, right? And so, all these chemicals that we create in our research, these are designer molecules. These aren't naturally occurring compounds. It's not like a plant essential oil extract. Mm-hmm. These are designer custom molecules. And so they're going to attach to certain things. And maybe they attach to the right thing, but maybe they attach to the wrong thing. And so that's the side effect.
The side effect is the wrong thing it's attaching to. Wow.
Yes.
And I feel like we've been brainwashed. Because so many times you don't feel well, and then you tend to go to the doctor, and then you're getting a pill, the drug that you've researched, which we know has side effects, in hopes that it's going to help you with your health.
Yes.
But in reality, it's putting a Band-Aid on your symptoms.
Complete Band-Aid. So the example that I give is that low fuel indicator in your car. When that light comes on and you're driving and you see it's empty and the light comes on, that tells you that you have a gallon or 2 or maybe 3 gallons left before it's completely empty, right?
Right.
The light is an indicator. It's not the problem. It tells you that you need to go refill the gas tank.
Right.
Okay, so pain is the indicator. You don't treat the pain, you find the root cause of the pain, because taking a painkiller gets rid of the light, gets rid of the indicator.
Right.
Right?
That
Like
makes total
hunger,
sense.
hunger is not the problem. Hunger is like you lack nutrition, or you need to eat, right?
Right. And so we talked earlier about how we're marketed to.
Yes.
And that we're being hacked in a way. We're being hypnotized
Yes.
by the advertising and commercial advertisements that are on our TVs and our Facebooks.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit, because that was very interesting.
Yeah,
what you talked about
so
earlier.
we don't realize that how much psychology goes into advertising and marketing. There's so much marketing, right? So there is the speed of light, right? You see images, and images are worth, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and so you will see an image, and that image will hit your brain at the speed of light, right? Quick.
Right.
Right? You see the flash of the fireworks before you hear the boom.
Right.
Right? And so the same thing with the image. It will lodge inside your brain, and it will take up residence there. Okay? Then later you hear the explanation of the possible side effects. Right? And so that travels to your brain during the second half of the commercial at the speed of sound. And so now you have this good image about the drug, and then you have the factual, bloody this or bloody that, or risk of suicidal thoughts and things like that. And so you can't hold a good and a bad belief about the same thing in your brain. But this is the image is already in your head. So what's the likelihood that you're going to be able to dislodge it with the verbal?
Right.
It's already taken space.
Right. And then from there, so you've been sold that, oh, I have this health issue and this pill will help me, and you heard it, and then the side effects didn't seem to matter because you've seen this first, and now it's being attached to the ocean and
the puppies and flying kites of your grandchildren and things like,
the
it's
pleasure part.
Yes.
So they're attaching the pain to the pleasure.
Yeah.
And then all these side effects were coming.
Yes.
I found that very fascinating.
Yeah, there's a lot of psychology, because we as human beings, or any other being, we want to be happy. And so any marketer of any product out there is trying to attach their product to an emotion.
Right.
Right? Because people behave, they act emotionally. They don't act logically. Right? And so they're attaching themselves to an emotion. Right? And that's what gets us in trouble, because we don't think logically. And so the antidote to that is just logic.
Right.
And that's fortunately, I'm very good at logic. And so some of the things I say are just very logical. It's like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Why would we do that? Because we've been programmed.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called TV programming.
Right.
Literally.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So be careful what you watch.
Exactly.
Because it just might not be the best thing for you.
And we always think of consumption as consuming food, right? Or buying too many products. But there's a mental consumption too. We consume things mentally. We don't just consume things with our spending. Like when you watch some TV shows that are not very good or not very, uplifting, then you can get into
The emotional state will change.
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's consumption on many levels.
Wow. So here you are now with the Kangen water, and you've been doing it now for how many years?
For 3 years.
For
Yes.
3 years, and you retired from what you were doing, which was research scientist on drugs.
Yes.
And now, where do you see this going in the next 5 years?
I think there's a mass awakening happening, because we're getting to I think we're actually beyond a tipping point in our society where chronic illness is in 50% of the population. And I think 1/4 of the population has 2 chronic conditions. Things just aren't going, I think everyone could agree that things are not going well as far as diabetes and cancer and those things, right? Because the prevalence is increasing.
Right.
We have a lot of food allergies. And people are allergic to pollen, which has been here since the beginning of time. Like, how could you be allergic to something that's here? It's in the air. You can't be allergic to air. Right? It'd be bad to be allergic to air. So there's something going on. And the solution here is nature. The solution isn't more chemicals, because I think more chemicals is what's causing our issues. It's our modern conveniences that's causing our issues. It's the plastic, it's the food preservatives. You know, nature is the only thing that heals. Nature is the only thing that cures, and your immune system, right?
Absolutely.
And so there's no cures other than your immune system and nature. And so how do you support those two? Don't load it up with toxins.
Right. And drink the best water.
Yeah. And clean yourself, right?
Right. Right. And so now you're doing full-time eNagic.
Yes. And it's been fun.
Yeah. What a switch. Isn't that interesting? I just think that's so fascinating. I'm so honored to be able to be with you today. And you can deliver great content to people that are out there. Yeah. Because there is so many sick people that just don't have the answer.
Yeah. And a lot, and it's a people are getting to the point where they're fed up, right? If you've gone to so many, tried so many different things and it's still not working. People want it. No one wants to suffer pain, right? People run away from pain,
right?
And so now if you're in pain all the time, now you're in a physical jail. You're not like behind bars, but you're in a body that's suffering. That's just some kind of torture, isn't it?
I like what you said earlier about your body. We only have one of them.
Yes.
And your car.
Yeah.
Now you've had your car has almost 400,000 miles on it?
Well, 308,000 miles, but you convert that to kilometers because we're in Canada. It's like 492,000, almost 500,000 kilometers.
Yeah, and it's still going.
Yeah, it's still going. I drove it here. I just came back from Idaho, and that was a 1,000-mile round trip, and I stopped by and visited you there. On the way down.
Yep. And so the moral of the story is that you take care of your body like you take care of a car.
Yeah.
You put the best oil, the best gas, you give it tune-ups, you treat it with respect.
Yeah.
Because once that car breaks down, you can buy a new car.
Yes.
But you cannot buy a new body.
Yes.
We only have one to live in.
Yes.
So do your research on these drugs and pharmaceuticals that are out there. And then do your research on water, the simplest thing that you can do to change your health.
Yes.
And all the chemicals that you can get away from because of owning this medical device.
Yes, and I think over time we've been programmed to say, better life through chemistry. And so, but I think we're at the other end of the extreme where we have too much chemistry in our life now, way too much.
We have to get back to nature,
yes.
And that's what I love about Kangen water: return to origin.
Yes.
Glacial milk. It's what our body deserves to have.
Yes, very true.
So thank you, Sam Tran, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.